Also, it was probably a solid 2 hours, right?
No, it's an hour and a half.
Okay, okay. I want to get my stuff settled, and I want to give you a heads up on stuff. I'm glad you're here, Bruce.
Nice to see you.
Good to see you. Eric was at General Counsel.
Why was it that?
I knew you were there. That's why I brought that up.
I approached the bench.
You know, as this was built, they did this. It wasn't for them to see. It was because this is never have documents. I don't like this kind of hand based on the podium. That's just
Yeah. And I appreciate that because you don't know what you like.
no.
Okay, and I know that that's you.
Your tribal servants.
On the other hand, those people
Yeah, you're right. That's why I got the booster seat. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think there's any problem with you to come here. I don't think that's right. You are leadership.
Reminder once in a while. Try to spend a couple of minutes thinking about it. Make sure I've got all the files up and everything. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. And we had a great conversation. was a lovely. Mikey, don't break it.
Changed out the monitor.
Is it better? Looks good.
Yeah, looks like.
Okay. Exactly.
I know a lot of times people watch you guys and see
Who was speaking? And you might recognize the voice, and you may not.
Test 1 2. Mic test 1 2. Of all of them. Test 1 2. Yeah, you got to get really close to it. Got it? Okay. I mean, it might make it a little louder, so it's really not. It's not a great solution, but we can do that for now. I'll start far away. Test to test, test, test. That's a little better. Yeah, test 1 2. Test. It's a little better. Yeah. So I lose it right about here. So, all right, test 1 2, test 1 2, test, 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 test. Not really any change, but it's still better. Test 1 2, test 1 2, test, 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 test. Not much of a change, but it's still better than it was. I had to get like within 1 inch away from it before. Test 1 2, test 1 2, test, 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 test. There, that's a lot better. Yeah, way better. That's good. Yeah, that's good. Probably without risking.
Good morning, Brent.
Morning.
Got it. Hey, Brent, why is there an agenda with one resolution sitting on the desk?
I had to prevent that one meeting, so the agenda and so the one check that.
ED, okay, so it was nice.
Yeah.
That is not a question that needs to be resolved today. Very few things that question that probably would be. It's not, I mean, today is not about emotions or voting, you know. met Eric Giles previously. This is Barry Linden, Director of Communications for Quapaw Nation. Eric is lead counsel with
Links on the website. Here.
Okay. I just wasn't sure if Stephanie had out had. So I asked him to redistribute that and that way I can, pull this out. No, I can't. Nothing responsible. Walk around here. Disaster.
Once I put it on, I could get it off. Put the thing on, I was like,
How are you feeling?
I'm
Good. Good to see you. Joe, I don't know if you guys have met previously. It's Giles.
Yeah, yes.
So he'll be with us all day today. You have fear in your eyes for.
Okay. Good. Good, thank you. Appreciate it. Morning, sir. Yeah. Actually, I just started. I was retired right. Special DC, special DC. So I came in. Yeah. What did you do? Well, tired of me. I'm back here. Pretty much mostly my here, hopefully. I have one. Their executive. Most of my experience is in girls building and working in John.
Mic test 1 2. Wireless mic test 1 2. Wireless test 1 2. Mic test 1 2. Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Mic test 1 2.
Well, usually you have your check. Okay. It's not on. Well, you want to hear that. You know what someone tell me if I did something?
Well, no, Pam caught us because I had it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just see that.
Mic test 1 2. No, we didn't hear anything. I was
No.
Really do. But I'm not a dummy, and I can't look for dummies.
mic test 1 2.
This system it uses, so this system should
I can hear you, but is it speaker settings on Zoom maybe?
That's what I'm looking through right here. See, you're going through real thick audio.
It should. That's correct.
Not going through the black magic.
No, it's not supposed to. It goes out the, well, hold on, let me see what port they plugged it into.
Okay.
That could be it. It's supposed to be. It's like not plugging it back in. I don't hear a speaker pop. What's our Windows device output? So I think you find it in the
That's it's all redacted. I mean, you'll recognize the right. Since it's all redacted, I can't tell.
No problem.
I just got to turn it back on.
Oh, you did?
Yes. Your phone.
Mic test 1 2. Probably be Zoom settings.
I hear it on that. It is coming up with YouTube right now.
Currently, I don't have anything on Zoom. What's our output? That's right.
You're still in real quick.
Yeah, that's right. I wonder if it's something on the mixer side because I don't hear a speaker pop when we unplug this and plug this back in anywhere. So, worst case scenario, if we can't get it to work, then people just won't. Unfortunately, I can switch it back to the original cables now if you want.
Yeah, I've seen that.
it should. It's muted. It's picking us up. Get it from the BC mic. The whispering, I would assume, for us. Oh, gotcha. I would assume it's coming from the bench,
Wanted to. Absolutely. Oh, you're welcome. I know. Left Wes in prayer. His gout has completely flared up again. He can't make it in this morning. He was there, but he declined. See, he only has one kidney. He donated a kidney. And oh, sweetheart, I am still hurting, man. Property. Oh, and I told him, I'm like,
Yeah, when I was reading that, you know,
I know.
What's gonna happen now?
All right. One more time. Mic test, 1, 2.
Can you hear me, Michael?
We can hear you, Tyler.
Okay, hold on. Let me try one more thing here.
Not that I've seen now. Magnets.
Zoom working? We actually start 2 minutes early. I'm not quite sure what we're gonna do.
So you're gonna laugh. But you're gonna laugh. I don't usually test it with my phone, with my headphones plugged in. I was attempting to use the mic that I don't have plugged into my headset. Because I have the detachable. And so I was trying to use this and it wasn't there. Well, I usually test it just with my phone, so never mind, it's not broken. I am broken.
Starting the day on UI, ending it on
UI.
Oh, I just saw on TV last night.
It's all well, I've heard about it, but I wanted to hear
We're in the Quapaw game, or what were you on 24?
thanks to us, they must have been spotlight or
Set
something.
Indigo.
Oh, okay, yeah. They can hear it.
Yeah, I saw you posting
Oh, I
something
said black
about.
magic.
You're welcome, honey.
All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. So the September 16th, 2023 Quapaw Nation Business Committee meeting is now called to order at promptly at 9 a.m. I would ask at this time, Joey Gibbswater, if you could please give the invocation.
Along with this for a second here. All the God saves Jesus Christ, great spirits come rolling around here with this soul. Miracle Son come over us here for this new day of life. Giving you all the thanks, praise, glory, and love, God, for making us Quapaw people here today that we can come together after all these hundreds of years and turmoil and still be here as one. God, thanking you here for this this business side of the tribe that we can come together on behalf of unanimous majority here to have some folks here talk and move around on behalf of our people in the best way possible, the best way that we can to move forward and ensure our future here. Thanking you here for everybody who make their way over here to cross this threshold into our little home place here at the grounds. Everybody who's on Zoom, so say that much to you. I ask that you overlook me being here for standing here talking to you. Not trying to be anybody or anything, say or do anything, but before you, God, just a little person in this life. Thank you here again for taking care of each one of us as we continue on through this life. Maybe I missed something. Maybe I said too much. God, you can look at it and take care of that as well. Continue on to take care of all the unseen elements that come up, all the disruptions that come up in this life, that you can see through them all. You can make it right, make it good here for us, how we want it, and meet each one of us on our daily, our families, our homes, our jobs, however we need it. God, you make it, you fix it for us like that. God, they told me to talk to you, thanking you again here, love you. Sure appreciate you being the kind father, the kind friend that you are to us. I say that much to you here. Lay it down for a little while. We'll love each one of us. Talk to you again at some point here later on. Thank you again. Amen.
Thank you, Joey. Let's go ahead and proceed to the installation of officers. Frank Frazier, Election Committee, and Larry Mercer.
Morning, Larry. Everybody hear me all right? Okay, we're going to install Larry today. This is a great honor for me and also for Larry, I'm sure. And hope he's feeling a lot better. Okay, repeat after me. I, as a business committee member, do solemnly swear that I believe and support the policies of the Quapaw Nation and the laws of this tribe. I further solemnly swear that I will work diligently toward the goals and objectives of the tribe and the nation or tribe, and heretofore commit myself fully to the responsibilities of this position for the purpose of which it was established. Thank you, Larry, and you're sworn in official.
Congratulations, Larry. Vice Chairman Glass, would you please take roll call and declare quorum?
Madam Chair Supino,
Present.
Vice Chair Glass here. Business Committee Member Buffalo. Here. Business Committee Member Davis.
Present.
Business Committee Member Mercer.
Present.
Business Committee Member Gibbswater.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, Vice Chairman. We'll go on to item 5 on the agenda. It's the reading, correction, and approval of minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from the August meeting?
I make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Member Davis. We have a motion. Is there a second?
Okay.
A second by Member Buffalo. Any discussion? Call for the question. All those in favor of approving the August 2023 minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstains? The motion passes. The meeting minutes from August 2023 are approved. We'll go on to reading, correction, and approval of the electronic polls. So one of the things that was included in the amendments is that we can still do phone polls, but they have to be declared an emergency, and the reason for that emergency also documented as a part of the phone poll. We did have 4 of those over the course of the last month, so we're going to go through those. Member Buffalo, would you please go through the first one?
Phone poll number 18889, request for 2 USDA REAP grants for QSA. Quapaw Service Authority was presented with an opportunity to authorize 2 grant applications for USDA REAP grants on its behalf. One was for U.S. federal fiscal year 2023 prior to September 30th, 2023, and another for U.S. federal fiscal year 2024 shortly after October 1, 2023, provided that such grant application be authorized before September the 15th, 2023, without further commitment of time or resources. The vote on this is 5 approval, 1 abstain. Motion carried.
Joey, would you please cover the next one?
Date was 9/7/23 at 7:47. Poll number 18919, authorizing signing of engagement letter with Joe Halloran. The poll is for an authorizing the chair to sign the engagement letter, which confirms the Quapaw Nation's engagement of the Jacobson Law Group, JLG, for legal services commencing at the time of engagement and to continue until terminated by either party. JLG will represent the nation as an independent special legal counsel related to federal litigation involving the nation's reservation boundaries and its criminal jurisdiction over its Indian country, as well as other matters that may be assigned by the nation. This poll was created due to this being time sensitive. The approve count was 6 and certified 9/7 at 7:47 in the morning.
Thank you. Vice Chairman Glass, would you please cover the next one?
This is a poll on 9/13 at 1:35 p.m. Poll number was 19543. Lincoln Elementary donation request. The 5th annual Lincoln Golf Tournament will be held on Sunday, September the 17th, 2023, and they are requesting a $500 donation. All proceeds are to use to benefit the students of Lincoln Elementary, which it will be used for items in the classrooms or help provide them with experience that may have not had the opportunity to experience. This was a placed poll call due to the donation in time. Approval count was 4, 2 rejected. The motion carried.
Thank you. I'll go ahead and take the last one. It's the execution of RSM US LLP and Hobbs-Strauss agreements. With this resolution, the Quapaw Nation wishes to execute service agreements with Hobbs-Strauss, Dean & Walker LLP and RSM US LLP for the review of legal and financial records of the Quapaw Nation concerning the distribution of funds derived from settlements. The approval count was 6, and that particular phone poll passed. I'll now take a motion to pass all 4 of these emergency phone polls. Is there a motion? Thank you, Member Mercer. Is there a second?
So second.
Thank you, Vice Chairman Glass. Discussion? I did have a couple of things that I wanted to raise regarding these. I wanted to make sure it was clear what the nature of the engagement was with the Jacobson Law Group that Member Gibbswater described. So this is federal litigation where there are, as many people might have read in the newspapers or social media, the U.S. Court of Criminal Claims continues to look for particular cases that suits the court's objective in basically criminal jurisdiction over non-member tribal members on a different reservation property. So think of the example where a non-Quapaw commits an alleged criminal act within the Quapaw Nation boundary. The court is itching for a case to be able to say the state of Oklahoma has criminal jurisdiction, okay? So the objective is, in this particular engagement, is to get those cases, to prevent them from proceeding through the U.S. Court of Criminal Claims, get them into U.S. federal court, and this is being done in conjunction with almost, not quite, but almost all of the other intertribal nations here in Ottawa County. Okay, so we are joining forces with the neighboring tribes to effect that so that all of the tribal nations in Ottawa County have appropriate levels of criminal jurisdiction, whether they're a Quapaw committing crime within our reservation or a non-tribal native within our reservation. The second one I wanted to raise was really around the engagement of Hobbs Strauss as well as RSM. This is a direct outcome of a pledge the business committee made 2 months ago to hire an independent legal and financial review of our trust settlement distributions. It regards both Bear VUS as well as Good Eagle VUS. Okay, so this is a follow-up and direct answer to that request. Any further discussion? Does anybody want to make a motion to approve these? Thank you, Member Mercer. Is there, oh, sorry, we already did that. All those in favor of approving these, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Any abstains? The phone polls are approved. Thank you. So we'll go on to the treasurer's report. I'll try to keep it brief so that we reserve time for some of the new business that we need to cover today. So I wanted to spend just a couple of minutes on the casino updates. The first one is really regarding Quapaw Casino. Last Sunday, there was an employee appreciation celebration at Twin Bridges Park. It was really well attended and a lot of fun on a beautiful day. Most of the business committee was actually able to be there and participate. It was, maybe some of us still have sand on our knees from playing volleyball. So, but for the month of July, ending July 31st, 2023, EBITDA totaled $535,000 with a margin of 23.6%. So, and I'll keep it short, but one of the things that we're observing with Quapaw Casino is, we've gone through the pandemic and, the numbers were very different. The demands were very different. And so Quapaw Casino, as now that we're on the backside of that, we hope, they continue to set a new norm for Quapaw Casino. They're doing remarkably well. The employee turnover is extremely limited. We enjoy great continuity within that property. We also look forward to building the new casino. Just a word on that. One of the reasons that you haven't seen, things such as breaking ground occur is primarily because this business committee is committed to protecting our sovereignty. It was actually a couple of different agreements that we had with architects and construction companies, did not want to submit to Quapaw Nation tribal court jurisdiction, and also were demanding higher levels of, limited waiver of sovereign immunity. Well, we've decided we're standing very firm on not giving up on that jurisdiction or those waivers of sovereign immunity. So, it is proceeding. It is going well. We're just not there yet, okay? So the way we always think about it, it's not a matter of if the new casino gets built, it's a matter of when. We want to do it the right way, though. Downstream Casino and Resort for the month ending July 31st, EBITDA totaled $9.5 million with a margin of 46.5%. That's really strong, especially in comparison to some of the larger casino resorts in Las Vegas and other areas of the country. July's result exceeded the budget expectations and were $0.6 million higher than July of 2022. So that's really good. Total net revenue for the month was $20.5 million, with net revenue represents an increase from July 2022 of $1.1 million, or 5.8%. So on a revenue basis, July 2023, so, July just here a couple months ago exceeded July 2022 in all areas except for fuel and tobacco. Okay. So I think those are really strong results. For Saracen for July 2023, regarding EBITDA, gaming revenue finished the month favorable to budget by $1.8 million, or 12.9% favorable. Compared to the prior year, gaming revenue increased by $1.4 million, or 9.9% for the month, and $16.5 million, or 12.5% year to date. The volumes were up for slots and sportsbook. Our leaders in generating gaming revenue. Increases in slots and sportsbook revenue and decreases in gasoline revenue provide optimism that the economic headwinds of the first quarter are completely behind us. So sportsbook revenue, including Bet Saracen, the statewide sportsbook app, continues to outperform against expectations and complements the improved performance in slots and table games. Sportsbook volumes have decreased from the highs of March. That's basically kind of a primary season. But we do expect, thus far, as far as football recommencing, those volumes are increasing this month. So we do still look forward to commencing the going vertical construction. I'd just like to remind everybody there is actually construction taking place on the Saracen property. It's an incredible amount of concrete work. It looks kind of funny. Hopefully some of you have started seeing the pictures out in the Quapaw Post. There is work happening. We're just not started going vertical yet. The hope is that we will be able to achieve the milestones necessary to gain approvals to go vertical at the very beginning of this next calendar year. So that's it as far as the treasurer's report. I'll accept a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
So moved.
Thank you, Member Buffalo, seconded by Member Davis. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Any abstains? Treasurer's report is approved. Next one is the approval, disapproval of directors and subcommittee reports that have been submitted. Is there a motion to approve these?
I make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Member Davis. Is there a second? Second by Member Mercer. Any discussion?
Question.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstains? The directors and subcommittee reports have been approved. Next, let's move on to the chair's report. I do have a couple of items that I wanted to bring forward today. I actually want to start with a moment of silence for those tribal members who have passed since we last met. Please keep in your prayers Walter Wayne Harper and Sidney Victor Griffin. I'd like to ask for a moment of silence. Okay. First, we're pleased compared to last month that we're all healthy. Nobody's got COVID, so we're all here. The new business committee members have really done a remarkable job this last month in becoming integrated with our day-to-day activities. We've come together as a team and established very good working relationships to make sure we can work effectively for you, the Quapaw people. Reliability, presence, participation, respect, open communication, and humility are the words that come to mind in the relationships that we forged. Our participation in the Northeastern Tribal Health System and the Intertribal Council sessions have been noteworthy as we continue to strengthen relationships with the other 8 Ottawa County tribes for the benefit of the Quapaw and our communities. For example, Vice Chair Glass and I participated in a meeting with the Intertribal Council last Friday. That commitment to collaboration will continue from this business committee. When we get to the executive director updates, I would ask that each of you set the stage for the resolutions your team have put forward that will cover a new business, as well as the consultations where we're participating. I spoke last month very briefly about the importance of those consultations. The federal government is required to ask what we think. We're obligated to be present and say what we think. Last August, last month, I should say, the BC met with the Oklahoma Broadband in a statewide tribal consultation and have already continued that relationship to bring broadband to our community. These folks came to see us in Quapaw and want to make sure affordable broadband is available to all of us here. And I'm sure we're going to get some updates on the ACP program. But we do have some other opportunities regarding broadband and affordable broadband for our community members. Week before last, TIPO Director Everett Bandy, Deputy Director Billy Bertram, and I visited the Arkansas Historical Museum in Little Rock. We also visited Plum Bayou Mounds and then spent 2 days in a National Park System consultation at the Arkansas Post. It was not only an enriching learning experience, but we were able to brainstorm around future endeavors together to preserve and promote our rich cultural heritage in Arkansas. It was a great trip, except for the 2 ticks I brought back, and I think I picked them up at the Ossetoy Maynard Hodges Mound site. But it was good to visit with the Saracen team as well while we were there. Last month, we gave an in-depth progress report on what the business committee has been doing regarding the recently approved amendments to our governing resolution. Since that time, we've continued making progress on the updated Downstream Development Authority and Quapaw Casino Authority charters. So more to follow on that. Based on that amendment, we have 6 months to implement, and based on our high-level timeline, I think we're right on track. We also announced there are subcommittee openings. Now, this is a great thing. 34 individual Quapaws have come forward and stated their interest in serving on these committees, and I think that is really remarkable. We will announce appointments in next month's meeting on October the 21st. In addition, October 21st marks the 2-year anniversary of the Lawhorn decision in the Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals. The Quapaw Reservation was never disestablished, and we do plan to celebrate that event. At 12:30 this afternoon, we'll commence a town hall. All tribal members are invited to attend to walk through a draft Bear v. U.S. frequently asked question document. It'll give all of us an opportunity to share our collective experience and knowledge of the lawsuit. As soon as the BC meeting is over, a light lunch will be provided to those in the community building, and we hope to start promptly at 12:30. Thank you to Melanie for making arrangements for that light lunch. On September the 30th, 2023, there are 3 special general council meetings to address: 1, 2 grievance committee vacancies; 2, the second item is 5 ethics commission vacancies; and 3, a vote on the Bear proceed distribution to record the will of the Quapaw people. A document has been drafted to provide guidance to tribal members on this event, and will be posted to the tribal website and our social media sites on Monday. So that's the document that will describe where is it, what time, child care application, what to expect in terms of the day, how to be prepared, how we're going to, what time lunch, breakfast, and snacks will be provided, things of that nature. So that'll be up on the website on Monday. Okay. So next, that's it. That's all I have for the chair's report. Does anybody else wish to add anything?
I think you did a great job covering it.
Thank you, Member Buffalo, for mentioning that. Prior to the September 30th special general council, Joey has made, Member Gibbswater has made arrangements so that people who wish to can be smoked off prior to that event, and it'll be at daybreak. Okay. There at the pavilion. Okay. Let's proceed to the accounting report. Quapaw Nation CFO, Eric Boone. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. August wrapped up our 11th month of our fiscal year. General fund received $2.4 million in revenue in August, bringing our total for the fiscal year to $29.3 million. Actual expenses in August were $3.3 million, bringing our total for the year to $30.8 million. Our tribal member health benefit in August, $495,000, bringing our total for the year to $4.84 million. Social service benefits in August were $423,000, bringing our total for the year to $3 million. Education benefits in August, $265,000, bringing our total for the year to $1.2 million. Also in August, we received $200,000 distribution from our enterprises, QSA, Quapaw Cattle, the Cleaning Corps, QCS. Those entities all contribute to the general fund too when they can. One of the things we've been working on really since June and is coming up in the resolutions later this morning
We've been working on the fiscal year 24 budget. It has been a good process. We've put a lot of work into really trimming it down the best we can, so that we have the most dollars for our tribal members and those benefits that we provide. So you'll be hearing something later on that this morning. In other departmental news, our CCDF program assisted 192 children and their families this in August. Also assisted 57 daycare facilities. Our grants department has been working on compliance issues with grants, and they were discussing one application in the month of August, one potential new application. Our IT department received 116 help desk tickets in August, and we're able to close 91 of those. Our procurement department assisted with 163 purchases in the month of August. Our tag department had 150 renewals, 53 new registrations, and distributed 25 car seats. Last month, it was 1 car seat. If you track back 9 months, we're looking at the holiday months. So you guys were really busy between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Just wanted to point that out.
Everybody got a package.
25 car seats in August. And then our tax, we were able to collect $161,000 in tax revenue in the month of August, bringing our total for the year to $1.36 million for the fiscal year. Does anybody have any questions?
I have a question. Who knew a CFO report could be so entertaining?
I try. Thank you.
Maybe we should add family planning to social services.
Thank you, Eric. We'll go on to subcommittee reports. Elders Committee. Grace, would you like to give an update this month? Grace, thank you. We'll follow up on the Christmas dinner because you're right. It's time to announce that and start focusing on getting the invitations out.
Event.
Thank you. So let me just, I'm going to try to reiterate. If I miss something, please correct me, Grace. So one, we need to focus on announcing the date for the Elders Christmas dinner, obviously in December. Number two, it sounds like there's an Elders trip that is being, planned for December. And then third, the next Elders Committee meeting is set for September the 18th on Monday at 1 p.m. Have I got it?
That's correct. Thank you.
Thank you, Grace. Any other subcommittees? Frank?
I'll give you an update on what's going on with the election coming up. We're planning on having a meeting Wednesday, the 20th, to put together the absentee ballot packets, and those will start being mailed out on Thursday, the 21st, if everything goes well. So everybody that's requested an absentee ballot packet, you'll be expecting to see those soon in the mail. Other than that, everything's going smooth. We have 2 outstanding candidates. Tough choices to be made, but I know we can do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. Constitution Committee, Roman?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Just want to announce some events that are going to be coming up and give a quick update of where we are. On October the 20th, here in this room, we are going to have an open meeting, so everybody's invited. We encourage you to please come out and join us, give us your feedback on the process and where we're at. That hasn't been, we've had a couple of meetings already, and it hasn't been too well attended, right? So this is a pretty important thing we're doing, and we're just asking, we need more attendance, please. We need more feedback. So putting that out there. Also on October 22nd, that's a Sunday, there's going to be a training available for Robert's Rules of Order. This is going to be done by a company called Civility, and this is for us to educate ourselves around Robert's Rules of Order. I mean, we hear them thrown around all the time. Our meetings are governed by them. Our Indian Council is governed by it, but a lot of us don't know what the rules actually are. And when we hear somebody say something, we take it at face value. So this is our opportunity to start educating ourselves a little better about what the rules really are. With that being said, in June, Resolution 061723C was passed to purchase some paperback copies of Robert's Rules of Order. I'd like to ask the business committee if we could go ahead and purchase those. I'll send an email, but I'm going to be sending the business committee a email to follow through on that purchase so that we have a copy available for any tribal member that wants a copy. Again, that was already approved. On November 4th and 5th, we're going to have a 2-day event. This is a Native Nation building event done by Native Nations Institute. They're out of the University of Arizona. It's also a child or a sister of the Harvard Indigenous Governance Project. And it's for us to come to the table and start voicing our opinion on what we want to see about who we are, where we come from, and what we do with that going forward. Okay, so this is just the beginning of the conversation, right? And we plan on having another event in the spring sometime, maybe late winter, that's going to start getting things dialed in about what will our governing structure look like. Now, we've been governed by a governing resolution that has gotten this far, and we see how faulty and incomplete it is. And so what these events are to do is to bring us all to the table and get that conversation established and have us sharing amongst each other. About what we're doing right now. So you've heard us share in the past about talking about roles. This has been going on for about 4 months now, 5 months, and we keep circling around. We can't dial anything in, and what we have found is that it's because we don't have a proper idea of what the overall structure looks like. We can't define a role if we don't know what the structure really is, and we're trying to do that as best we could. But now, as these recent amendments have passed, we're starting to see that some of these concerns and the lack of transparency, some of these are starting to address themselves now with the amendments that everybody had already approved. So we want to kind of observe that and see how that starts to unfold. And this gives us a great opportunity to shift what we're doing right now to what type of structure do we want to see our governing body take? Do we need an executive office? Do we need a part or a portion, a business committee just devoted to legislation? Do we need people devoted to tribal affairs, cultural affairs? And that's where that's the direction that we're headed right now. And that being said, we'll be setting up meetings with the cultural committee, the elders committee, because we think that these are vital pieces to a long-standing style of governance. These are components that aren't included in our current governing resolution, right? But we rely on our elders, we rely on our culture to survive, and we think that this needs to be a part of how we govern ourselves also, right? So that's where we're exploring right now. And that's going to be the topic of what we're going to be talking about on the 20th. So please come out. You could anticipate, this isn't all we're going to do, but I know that it's an easy shot to continue conversation. We're just trying to solicit more voices. What we want to do is, or what I'd like to do is create a social media presence where we could share links, share ideas, something you heard, just something if it comes up and you don't want to set a meeting or make a phone call, you could just throw it out there, get a conversation going. So you could anticipate seeing that in the next month. Also, you could anticipate more access to the Constitution Committee. If you'd like to set up an appointment for a phone call, we'll create an availability for that. You could schedule a phone call with us, and we're going to figure out how to get that disseminated to everybody. So a lot's happening right now. So be on the lookout for all of those. We're going to get some graphics requested to be produced for the events on the 20th and also on November 4th and 5th.
Roman, thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, there's a question.
Roman, I just wanted to know on October 20th for that Constitution open meeting, what time?
Yes, thank you. Potluck first, food always first. At 6 p.m., meeting will start at 6:30. We have a hard cutoff at 8:30.
Thank you.
There's
Yeah, because we don't want to get locked in again.
Hey, Rome. I have a quick question. So I've been interested in the Constitution Committee since the beginning. One of the things that I want to know is at this meeting that we're going to have, you guys have like a detailed list of the feedback you've received, what you've actually done with that. So if somebody said this is a good idea, and then you either adopted it or didn't, or dropped it, whatever. Because I want to make sure that we're doing whatever we can to get more tribal members, and that's going to be something I'd like to look at if we could. How do you guys keep track of that now?
We don't. We are very loosely organized. We have a gentleman's discussion. You know, there hasn't been a need for us to have Robert's Rules of Order instituted inside of our committee. We listen. We give feedback. Sometimes we agree, sometimes we disagree, but everybody shares. So the ideas that are brought forth to us, they come out, and then we kick them around 1 week. Maybe they'll surface again in a couple of weeks. Maybe they'll surface again in another month. And that's how we just continue to evolve with those conversations.
I appreciate that, but I think in the interest of transparency, I think the reason we're doing the Constitution is so we can get those types of transparent things. And I think even without Robert's rules, we could keep a spreadsheet or something of what it is and then what was done with it. Because I think with that, I think people might feel more confidence that what they're saying, their voices are actually heard. I know you guys are hard workers because I know you personally. But if we could work on something like that, I'd really appreciate it.
Yeah. So let me backtrack a little bit on that. So we do have documented, we do have the feedback that we received from the Indian Council, from our surveys, and all of that's very well documented. But when a tribal member asks me, is like, hey, have you ever considered this? I'll bring that up. I'll say, it's like, hey, another so-and-so tribal member brought this up. That stuff isn't documented because there would be a lot of that. And we do have a lot of that. And it's one tribal member's voice compared to the overall. So we do discuss them, but we don't necessarily take action on them in a direction that we want to head, unless that came from the Indian Council.
So I understand that. But me as an individual Quapaw, even if I'm on one of those committees, I want to make sure that what you just said doesn't happen. I want to make sure that my voice is heard, and whether you guys agree with it or don't agree with it, that at least we know that I know for sure that it was considered. Because we're human, you know?
Right.
So, I mean, I may see you in the store and express something, and then it might be forgotten the next meeting. But in my mind, as an individual Quapaw, I think you've taken it to the committee and something's happened. And I think that it's not on you guys individually, I get that, but surely with our IT department, our comms department, there's something that we can do to keep a note and just, follow up on it. So if we could do something like that, I'd really appreciate at least the consideration.
Sure.
Thank you.
I think there was one more question in the back of the room.
That class, is it going to be an open class, or do you have to sign up for it? And what time does it start?
We're going to have a sign up for it because we need a general idea to be prepared: tables, chairs, refreshments, and whatnot.
And what time did you say it was going to start?
On the first one for Robert's Rules of Order?
Yeah, the class.
9 o'clock. It'll be 9 to 1. So it'll be a 4 hour.
Right,
Yes, on a Sunday. The 22nd.
Roman, will that be held here in the community building as well?
Right here, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Roman, thank you so much. Good update.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll go on to the executive director reports. First up is Trenton Stand, Executive Director of Resource Management.
everybody. All right. Well, I will get started covering some of the resolutions that I've noticed that's on for new business today. There is a purchase request for a vehicle through the Food Sovereignty Department. This is planning out and budgeted for within our 2024 budget. However, due to the lead time of getting vehicles, we're trying to get this moving now so we can get it held for us and hopefully get it in 2024. We've had instances that I'm aware of where vehicles have taken a couple years to be created. So we're trying to get out ahead of that. We have, it's a resolution N is a covered workspace for the Food Sovereignty Department. Currently, I think I've mentioned in past meetings, they haven't had a place for their equipment. They have a big, nice wood splitting device. I don't know. It's big, impressive, and it had been
Sorry, Trenton,
outside.
is that for forestry or for food sovereignty?
Forestry.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry if I misspoke. So that's what this resolution is for. Is basically give them a covered workspace. It's similar to what's in town on Main Street, but it has pitched roof on both sides, not a lean-to. And it'll be just northeast of here, out on the old Alexander property. Let's see. The next one is there was two of them. Okay, one's the erection and one's for, okay, gotcha. That's the next resolution is to approve the company for the erection of that building. And the last one that I believe falls under my stuff is the purchase of fee land located within the exterior boundaries of the Quapaw Nation. That's for a residence that adjoins the elderly housing property in Quapaw. So that covers those. Now, to get moving on, as always, we stay pretty hooked up. The forestry report showed that they did not have their lift truck back from Waco, Texas. That's since been picked up, returned back here. So that's been a long waiting issue. But like I mentioned before, there's only 4 service companies in the United States, and that was the closest one to take it to. So hopefully they can get back on track with their requests for assistance on tree limb assistance for people at their homes and things. They've been going and visiting sites, but obviously not been able to conduct any work without that piece of equipment. With the erection resolution that I mentioned for the building, they've been starting prep for, we're having to fence off a little area. They've been planning that, basically how that's all going to work in the event that we get this approved. The environmental department, as always, you know, they've hauled 3 recycled bins over to Red Cedar for the month, 19 tons of waste for roll off and pitcher. That's kind of been of an issue there, just due to the city of Miami's ability to haul off waste. That's been kind of hindering us there, so we were down a little bit on tons removed. Sampling at downstream and the pitcher water system, those are done monthly as a normal process for the environmental side, and those are sent off either to EPA if it's downstream or ODEQ if it's the pitcher system to run those samples, make sure there's not bacteria or anything in the water. QSA removed 111,722 tons moved or removed of material for the month of August. The Region 7 funding, that's the work that I've mentioned about talking or taking place in the Kansas Strip. That funding should be hitting at the end of the month, which then allows us to start drafting plans for remediation of those sites. And hopefully we looked early summer to start the work in Kansas of 2024. However, with that new work taking place, we want to make sure we button up a few projects here in Oklahoma. And we've had meetings, multiple meetings this past week to try to plan that accordingly so we go up into the new EPA region with our best foot forward, get the work done so we can obtain more work in Kansas. We've been planning for the Tar Creek commemoration event. That's the 10 years of doing EPA remediation work. That's still on for October 4th. And there will be more information on that as we get closer to it. But that's basically just an event for government employees to come down, see where their dollars have went to, and show what they're funding for the future. Because you can say what Tar Creek is, but to come out here and see it, I mean, everybody's first time. I know we all grew up here, so it's nothing really new for our eyes, but somebody else coming for the first time, they're kind of shocked at the scale of it. Quapaw Cattle Company wrapping up the hay. Corn harvest is ongoing. Beans have been received. Mitch will start weaning calves here. Well, he's doing it now, actually, this month. The buffalo calving should be done. There'll be probably a few stragglers that will be fall calvers, but that's very few. From the buffalo, we were ended up with 49 new calves for the herd. Mitch has received, approval for the herd development grant there was enough money from that, which he hasn't received the dollars for yet, but it's going towards a hay hauler that is also a trailer conversion. So it'll take him from being able to haul roughly about 7 bales, I believe, to 24 out of whack, saving fuel, time, money. So he's pretty excited about that. We're currently looking into some bison opportunities. We're not sure how this is going to take place yet. We're going to be having a meeting later this month with the Intertribal Buffalo Council. They've kind of had an excess of bison this past year. But obviously our problem here is land and freezer space, depending on what we're going to do with it. So there will be some meetings to discuss that, how we can handle that in the most effective way possible going forward. Feed yard's full. I will have to present a phone pole for the fencing program that will go obviously as an emergency. The BIA, we've requested an extension for our annual fencing monies, and I've been in and out of that program over the past decade, and it's never been more than a 1-year funding agreement. Now the Bureau's decided it could be 2 or 3 years. Just let us know what you guys want. However, if we're doing it, we have to have a resolution submitted now. So that is what you will see in next month's meeting as an emergency phone pole that's being submitted, and that's just to further secure that we can draw down on those fencing dollars. Food sovereignties had a big month. Michelle's attended a Native Nutrition Conference just this last week. She's got a planned Native Seed Conference coming up in Tulsa next week. Mercantile sales for the month of August was just under $8,500. Farmers market sales topped over 4,000. Pounds harvested for August was 938 pounds, and that did not include the watermelon, but there was 106 of those, so that's a substantial amount of weight. They received $100,000 through the NAFT grant. That's the Native American Ag Fund. That basically is going to go towards the wash and pack house, furnishing the equipment needed to get that up and running. Also, you guys drove by this morning, still seeing the doors aren't on it yet. that's scheduled for the 20th, 20th, 21st to have those put on. So that's moving along. They also received $20,000 from the BIA. It's to basically get the project rolling for a water catchment facility to go in conjunction with the wash and pack house. The Bureau is going to try to see after October 1 if they have some additional funding to fully fund that project. 'Cause I think it was around $47,000 if I remember correctly for the total water catchment project. To date, as of this last week, on the food disbursement or distribution event that we held, we had 362 people register. We had 321 people show up and pick up the food distribution. It, for the most part, you know, anytime we do the first distribution of anything, there's going to be lessons learned. We're going to do better at kind of getting information out there to folks that may not have accessibility to internet, things like that. Jean Ann has done a really good job at collecting people's personal telephone numbers so that, hey, we don't have internet or smartphones or this or that. And she's been in communication with them to ensure that they're aware of it. Right now, it'll be probably next week when the information starts circulating, but the next distribution is going to be the week before Thanksgiving. Kind of trying to finalize the dates exactly on pickups for that. And you guys will receive then, once you do it online, the registration form. It's been set up to ensure you get a confirmation with those dates and times for pickup. So there's clarity in when and where you need to be. So I think that went, for the most part, we had positive feedback on it. If there's any issues, please catch me after this. I'm willing to learn from them, from your comments. So the next round we're anticipating, just from those additional comments, people reaching out, didn't know about it and things, we're expecting 400 plus people to participate, and it'll be interesting. I'm glad the numbers are up, but it's also kind of logistically tough because the freezer space is an issue. We just don't have that right now, so we're having to really plan down to the pound of how much beef we have coming in from the processing plant and when that is. So, like I said, if you guys have any issues or have any concerns, please reach out to me. The realty office, just a few real high points for them. We're scheduling a negotiation with the right-of-way company in October. That's an actual negotiation to satisfy trespass that has gone on since '64 on a project. That's a pretty big deal because it's been ongoing ever since I've been here, obviously. But that's we're at the closest point we've been at thus far in resolving that, and that'll kind of give us processes for other ones because there are other issues and just like that within the reservation. And we actually had a meeting on the site just on Friday afternoon with a company that was in trespass on a different type of right-of-way, but kind of the same objective. We need to clean those up, and this will help with that. They went to court. We're using the court system as always when people don't pay us the money they're supposed to. So they had one case they went to and received fair judgment in obtaining those monies owed. And they're working on 3 potential acquisitions of fee property that's new in addition to the one I mentioned earlier on the resolution. Those are in the negotiation discussion stages. Processing plant, they've been, as I've reported the past couple months, moving in a positive direction. We've done some facility upgrades to ensure efficiency on the killing floor side. They've had a couple companies come through with a few test pots of bison to see our process in action before they decided on getting us bigger contracts, longer contracts. Those went well. We're waiting to finalize those to see if they're willing or able to send us more buffalo. So that's everything I have.
And I just wanted to say thank you to you and the entire team for the food distribution. I know makes a difference. This is the first time we're going to learn an awful lot and be able to, and I know everybody's committed to making those operational improvements to help spread the word. The distribution couldn't, I mean, when I went through, it was remarkable to me how well it was marked off. It didn't even take 2 minutes. So it was fabulous.
Yes, Food
Thank you.
Sovereignty did a great job, and they had some assistance from some employees from the processing plant, and we're very thankful and appreciative of them.
So the key message is, guess we're going to have to buy some more freezers.
Yes, please. Thank you, guys.
Next up, we've got James Dawson, Executive Director of Quapaw Facilities Authority.
Just so you know, good morning. We have a kind of a running joke about time limits, and Trenton walked by. He said, I was just under 15. Just under 15. So, got a few things to report. If you've gone by the Farmers Market Pavilion, pad's cured. Construction's began. They're starting to put that up. We're hoping that'll be done in substantial completion will be in 2 to 3 weeks. So that's a project that's on the move. Out at the Ray property, if you haven't been by on 50 Road, you see all the construction going on. We've got footings on lots 1, 2, and 3 are poured. The floors will be poured on those on Monday, starting at 6:30 a.m. if anybody wants to come and watch cement be poured. Lots 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 29, and 30 are all at elevation and have passed compaction testing, so they're ready to start construction on those as well. On Tuesday, the county came in and helped us set the entrances to that property. So both of those entrances are in right now. We've closed off the east entrance with barbed wire just to keep traffic from coming through, and then we put another gate on the west entrance. Construction entrance will still be used. Roads within that subdivision are going to begin on Monday. We're going to start working on those. And we also had bid opening for the civil work. Bid opening for the civil work is going to be next Wednesday. When we did the pre-bid, generally when we have pre-bids, we have 4 or 5 companies that will come in to bid those projects. When we sent out all of the information for our pre-bid conference, we had 14 companies come in to potentially bid on that, which is a great thing because that just makes it more competitive for when those guys are preparing those bids to get them in. You know, when you have 14 people in a room as opposed to 3 or 4, it makes a big difference. But again, that bid for civil work, which is the road work and the water and everything, will be next Wednesday. OLC splash pad and playground, final designs approved. Final budget has been provided by Branco. Groundbreaking is tentatively set for the week of the 25th. And after that groundbreaking, construction is set to begin. So that's something that's going to take place, and we will we'll get with the BC to set a time and date for sure during that week for that groundbreaking. Substantial completion for both of those projects, both the playground and the splash pad, is tentatively scheduled for March of 2024. Out here at the Powwow grounds, Cherokee Builders continue to work on the water line installation over on the west side of the creek. They're going to cease work for the stage out to where they're not going to be in anybody's way during the fall gathering. And right now, it's still on schedule to be completed June 2024. Our roads program, the BIA region came in for an audit this past week. There were 0 discrepancies found, no areas needed for improvement, and they also complimented and said we were one of the best roads program in the region. So that's a good thing.
I have a question. Now, they're not talking about the quality of our roads. They're talking about how well run the program is, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, just checking.
Well, the quality of our roads, I think, are good in that work, but I mean, we can't do it all. County and state takes care of some of them, unfortunately. Sometimes they do a good job, sometimes they don't. As Trenton mentioned, the forestry building, we had 3 companies bid the structure and all of that. That's going to be in a resolution today, and the erection of that building also is going to be in a resolution today. The Lincoln Sewer Project, that crew's still at the south end of 628 Road. They have hit a large vein of limestone where they're trying to put the lift station, and they've been hammering on it for 2 weeks now. So they're still anticipating that that project will be completed on time, but that's one of those things that we're just overseeing the project for IHS, and that they answer to them ultimately, but they still anticipate it will be completed. And then once that project is completed, there'll be they'll abandon the lagoons, which is going to be another project entirely by IHS. Maintenance department, this print is awfully small. We've been working, the HVAC and electrical department's been working down at the DV homes, installing all of the finishes on electricity and installing electricity. The DV office itself is complete. I believe Tom was in there painting and everything in the units themselves this past week. So electrical finish work, AC work, that will begin this coming week to get those wrapped up as quickly as we can. And then we'll finish the dirt work out front and get driveways and everything set for there. We've also been doing some electrical work again down at the new fire station at Wyandotte. They've decided that they want to put in air conditioning out into the main part of the building, heat and air out there. So Bruv and Bob have both been going down there doing some work as well. We had 29 scheduled and completed work orders, and we've been a little bit shorthanded, so please be patient with us. We're trying to get some additional people hired from some jobs that were vacated, so we're in the process of getting those people hired to make our maintenance department whole again. Elder housing, all units are occupied still, with 4 currently on the wait list. Continue to take care of repairs and as they come in. I've already talked about the DV homes. I've been going around trying to visit with all of the occupants of elder housing to get a little bit of input about the rest of our privacy fencing. Haven't got to talk to everybody yet. Some were home, some weren't home. Received word this morning that I came during lunchtime when they were all over having lunch. Wasn't intentional, but once you start visiting, going around to all the houses, you might wind up at one a little bit longer than the other, so I didn't get to everybody. But I will get to everybody to kind of get opinions about where we need additional fencing. I think there was one apartment that might have thought that I was a salesman because I saw their door close and then they didn't answer when I knocked. So, but everything else is going pretty well. Any questions?
Good update, James. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is Steve Estand, Executive Director of Tribal Member Services.
Good morning, everybody. I'm going to start off with the fitness center. They've been pretty busy. They're averaging still 214 weekly coming in, 39 daily, and they have 8 that consistently use the sauna. They actually had 13 new memberships for the month of August and 32 renewals. The staff attended a CPR and first aid training and classes, and then Sherry and Derek attended the Stop Bleed class. The enrollment department, we currently have 5,954 enrolled members and 1,667 registered voters. The Title VI program had 164 attend their ice cream social and bingo. They will be having a foot care clinic on October 13th. And for the month of August, they served 685 congregate meals, 3,665 home delivered meals for that month, and they had 148 walk-ins. So they stay very busy through the month. Higher education, the Quapaw Nation workforce received very positive feedback from their internship exit interviews, and they still currently have 10 interns working within different departments. The workforce is currently assisting a tribal member with getting her CNA training. So, so anybody who you know or want to send that's maybe looking for work, they'll assist with applications, resumes. So send them our way. Yep. So, and they'll also help them, because she helps with education, but through the workforce, if they want to get any kind of training, or the workforce send them to and have them ask for Molly. She's doing a good job with that, with the workforce. We had 89 students apply for summer 2023 traditional funding for a total of $94,786 that was paid out, and 117 students applied for the fall 2023 traditional funding for a total of $258,400. The Family Services Department, actually, there were 17 OVC clients that were served, which are victims of crime, and 21 DV and sexual assault clients they served through the month of August. ICW had 25 clients that they served, and there's been an increase in reports due to school being back in session. The general assistance and direct employment burial crisis that we have a grant through, there were 8 clients served through general assistance, direct employment, and crisis. And if you know of anyone, Susan, we're trying to build that program up because they will help with general assistance if they're unemployed and, looking for work. They can get monthly assistance until they find work. Direct employment will help with things if they get a new job, whether it's, clothing or tools or anything they need, she can help. There's guidelines and stuff. And if you ask for Susan Holland, she can help, tribal members with that. And there are also crisis. We helped one crisis with that had a house fire. And it's not only for tribal members, it's Ottawa County. So, social services assisted 6 burials for a total of $14,787.94. We assisted 2 veterans. There were 1,083 utilities paid for 64 and under, for a total of $196,052.99. There were 230 utilities for 65 and over that were paid in the month of August for $34,659.65. 60 unmet needs and school clothing for a total of $12,000, which it always is more right before school starts, usually. And we had 8 end of life for $48,017.96. Our OLC received their 5-star rating, so we were very excited about that. and they currently have 41 Quapaw children enrolled, 23 Quapaw Nation employee children, and 12 private pay. And the librarian, Patty, is continuing to come and do activities with the children through the month of August, and OLC will be having parent-teacher conferences on September 25th through the 29th. Then the Affordable Connectivity Program, we're still working on and got the word out. Trenton, do you have anything on that as far as the issue?
The only thing on our side with that is we needed a description for the line into the elderly housing and a map plat for that. Bolt had provided us the legal description, but did not get us, the plat yet. So Stacia was working on that last week, trying to get that project moving forward.
So once that's completed, we'll be going and assisting with the elder housing residents to get their applications filled out and completed online. And if any tribal members in the area want assistance, we've helped one already. We will help you get apply online if you don't have the resources or whatever. So if you'll just call and ask for Molly, she's kind of spearheading that and helping tribal members with that. All I have.
Stephen, that's a lot of assistance for tribal members. That's what we're here to do, so thank you. All right, next up we've got Charles Addington, Executive Director of Department of Public Safety.
Well, good morning, everybody. It was a busy month again in August for public safety. I think all of our programs under DPS all had increases in August, with the exception of one. So fire and EMS had about 238 calls. 212 of those were medical, and 26 were fires. Our mobile integrated health had about 155 different contacts, and 90 of those was home visits, and 25 were health screenings. Emergency management had about 22 different incidents that they had training, and some SARS missions that some of the canine teams went out on as well. It looks like our 911 comm center had about 1,628 911 calls that they answered just in the month of August as well, which is about the 1,500 to 1,600 is about where they've been running for those. Plus, they took on about 13,700 business calls, so a lot of activity for the dispatchers in the comm center as well. The QCS had about 173 calls and runs, or pet patients, outpatients, inpatients that they assisted with during the month. And the Marshal Service had about 440 reports that were submitted, and about 463 different offenses that was recorded, in 27 arrests for the month. Our courts had about 142 different cases, things on the docket, people, civil cases, criminal cases, that they heard during the month of August. And our new probation program that we got the grant for here just a few months back is starting to build quite rapidly. We got our probation and parole officer, Jeff Newton. He's actually over into the courts and is getting, the numbers are increasing. So we're getting some alternatives to incarceration. Some different things in place, so we're able to put people on probation. The courts have bought ankle monitors now that we can use as alternatives to sentencing, and we're also, the courts are reaching out to the Peoria tribe. They have a substance abuse treatment program that they do here in town, that they have some different resources, and we're going to meet with them and see if we can figure out what resources that they're able to provide. They got different vendors, and see if we can come up with some different treatment, substance abuse and counseling and treatment for tribal members, as well as another alternative to sentencing and incarceration. So we're working on that as well. So the probation and parole had about, it looks like, 9 people put on probation, 9 new ones, and 17 continued. Had 3 folks that was able to complete their probation and get off this month. So the Juvenile Affairs has 3 active cases going right now, and got 2 more referrals that come in. So that's kind of the numbers of kind of everything that happened there. But you know, we had a lot of events and things that happened in August, and we had our Quapaw Bash over in the city of Quapaw, and it went very, very well. We're really pleased with the number of people that come out there in all the different Quapaw Nation departments, the city of Quapaw, the Quapaw schools. We had folks come in and help us set things up. Springfield Foods donated all the food for us and stuff, and the Route 66 convenience store donated some food and stuff as well. So it's a really good event. We're already looking forward to next year, where we've already talked to the school about looking at getting a bigger venue and making it bigger for next year. So a lot more things for the kids to do. So we had a really exciting time with everybody that was out there. So
How many times were you dunked in the dunk tank?
I got waterlogged the time I got out of the dunk tank. So I was in there about 45 minutes, and I might as well have stayed in the water, because the kids were getting a pretty good bead on the get me in there. So we were real pleased with the number of people. It looked like we figured about 300 plus out there, because we didn't have hardly any food left. So it was a really good event. So had a lot of good feedback from community members, and got some feedback of what they'd like to see next year. So we're excited and looking forward to that. So we did have some fire training this past Wednesday, where we actually had OSU come in and teach a flammable liquids and gas class. So if anybody was over by Quapaw Casino, we was across the street at the Emergency Operations Center and had fire going in the air. And this is one of the classes that a lot of the fire department employees needed to meet their Fire One certifications. So we had about 26 students in the class, 7 different fire departments. We had folks all the way from Collinsville, folks down around Tulsa up. So and then 14 of those students were Quapaw Nation Fire Department employees. So we was really pleased that OSU come out and put that class on for us for free. So bringing more of that free training out here, so we don't have to pay for it. So one of the things that we have on the new business is the purchase of a new fire truck. The current brush truck that they have, it's a 2009 Ford model. It's 14 years old, and it continues to have mechanical issues, because it's those brush trucks are used out in the rural areas when they're fighting fire out in fields and things. So they get across some pretty rough terrain, and the turbos keep going out on the truck. They've had it replaced numerous times, and they can't seem to make it work. It's been over at the shop more than it's been in the building. So cost effective to purchase a new vehicle, so we're not keep spending the $1,000, $1,500 trying to put turbos and keep the truck going, because it is, like I say, it is 14 years old. So, and that puts us down 1 brush truck. So if we do start getting into fire season where we need to fight fire out in fields and things where we can't get the larger trucks, this is a crucial piece of equipment for protecting not only structures, but anything that's out in the fields when they come across and are burning at a rapid pace before they get to someone's property. So we would like to get that one replaced. So other than that, that's about the extent of everything in public safety. Like I say, it's just a busy month. We got Lawhorn anniversary coming up October 21st. So we're getting numbers and things put together for that. So the numbers are pretty significant increases from prior to Lawhorn to now at the 2-year mark. So with that, if you guys got any questions.
Thank you, Charles.
Thank you, guys.
Let's go on to new business, the first 3 resolutions. Member Mercer, would you take those?
We have resolution number 091623A. This is a resolution authorizing the appointment of Nathan Coleman as a Quapaw Nation prosecutor. His appointment to the court shall commence on the effective date of September 5th, 2023, and be in effect for a 5-year term. Therefore, that upon taking office, Mr. Coleman is hereby empowered to perform his duties of office and otherwise conduct business in the Quapaw Nation courts.
Is there a motion to approve Resolution 091623-A?
Madam Chair, I move to adopt.
Thank you, Member Buffalo. Is there a second?
Second.
Member Davis, thank you for the second. Any further discussion? Call for the question. All those in favor of adopting Resolution 091623-A, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Any abstains? The motion passes.
The next resolution is resolution number 091623B. It is a resolution endorsing the Intertribal Emergency Management Coalition, ITEMC, legislative priorities. Make a motion to approve.
Are you making the motion to approve, Member Mercer?
Yes.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Member Davis. Any further discussion?
Question.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Any abstains? Resolution 091623-B passes.
Next resolution is resolution number 091623-C. It is a resolution authorizing Weena Supernaw, Chair, to sign the Sac and Fox Nation Detention Services Agreement. And we have an agreement with the Sac and Fox, which is up for renewal, and it guarantees us one bed there.
Is there a motion to approve Resolution 091623-C?
So move.
Thank you, Vice Chair Glass. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Member, thank you, Member Gibbs-Water, for that second. Is there any discussion? So I'll go ahead and go into this one. I have grave concerns about this particular resolution. Although it is a renewal, it does require an irrevocable waiver of sovereign immunity. Legal counsel has been in contact with Sac and Fox Legal Counsel, the net outcome being, well, all the other tribes agreed to it, so we're not going to budge. We suggest you sign off too. Kind of reminded me of things my mother used to tell me when I would say, well, everybody else was doing that. And she'd respond and say, well, if everybody else was eating a bug, would you do it too? It's a good point. I know I'm going to have to abstain from this one, but I do have concerns. This is a critical service being provided to our youth in the event it is required, but we have to weigh the risks of a single individual versus the risks associated with the entire nation. Is there any other discussion? Call for the question. All those in favor of adopting Resolution 091623-C, please say aye. Those opposed? Opposed.
Opposed.
Nay.
I abstain. The motion is rejected. Okay, so Member Buffalo, would you take the next 1, 2, 3, 4?
Resolution number 091623D, purchase request 2024 3500 chassis. It's Quapaw Nation FREMS requesting the purchase of 2024 Chevrolet 3500 chassis to be upgraded to wildland firefighting operation, as explained by Mr. Addington. I move to adopt.
Thank you for that motion, Member Buffalo. Is there a second? Thank you, Member Mercer. Any further discussion?
Question.
Thank you, Vice Chair Glass. All those in favor of adopting Resolution 091623-D, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Any abstain? The motion passes.
Next one would be Resolution 091623E, Downstream Golf Club. Terminate lease agreement, enter into a shared use agreement. Whereas the Quapaw Nation Business Committee desires to terminate a certain lease agreement between the nation and the Downstream Development Authority dated October the 1st, 2008, as amended on or about February 15th, 2011, and as further amended on or about October the 1st, 2013. Lease agreement copies, which are together attached hereto to Exhibit A, and land to enter into a shared lease agreement, shared use agreement, so as to permit the golf club to use the property described as the premises in the lease agreement on a shared basis with Downstream Casino Resort, and obligate Downstream Casino Resort to maintain the company's properties and premises. I move to adopt.
Thank you for that motion. Member Buffalo, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Member Davis. Is there any discussion? So the following comments really pertain to not just this resolution, but for the next couple as well. For many years, even prior to Downstream's completion and opening 15 years ago, there were a number of lease agreements put into place at that time for a very good reason. Considering that the distribution cap has been eliminated, the necessity of those particular lease agreements don't really exist anymore. So what we're trying to do is to simplify, in essence, intercompany transactions between whether it's Downstream and the Quapaw Nation or some of the other entities. So consider this, we're going to be talking a little bit about a variety of cleanup efforts, and this is one of those. In no way does it mean that we're compromising either the revenue coming from Downstream to the tribal nation or the utilization of these properties and assets. This is basically bookkeeping, but it is important as we simplify things going forward. We also received a number of comments from our consolidated auditor at the end of the last audit cycle, calling some of these items into our attention. So we're trying to get this simplified on a go-forward basis. Any other discussion? All those in favor of adopting Resolution 09-1623-E, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Any abstains? The motion passes.
Madam Chairman, I'll introduce the next two resolutions, but with your explanation, I'll just introduce the resolution and the number.
Thank you.
Resolution number 09-1623F, resolution to terminate a lease agreement and enter into a shared use agreement. Let's move to adopt.
Thank you for that motion, Member Buffalo. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Member Davis. Any further discussion? All those in favor of adopting Resolution 09-1623-F, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Any abstains? The motion passes.
Similar comment as prior. I'll introduce resolution number 09-1623G, a resolution to terminate a lease agreement and enter into a shared use agreement. So move to adopt.
Thank you for the motion, Member Buffalo. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Member Davis. Any further discussion? I'll call for the question. All those in favor of adopting Resolution 09-1623-G, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Any abstains? The motion passes. Thank you. So the next three, Member Davis, would you please take those?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution number 09-1623-H is a resolution approving the purchase of a Kubota mulching head for the Forestry Department. The Forestry Department is in need of a Kubota mulching head for land clearing operations to clear material and debris, having conducted due diligence in accordance with current policy and ensuring sufficient unencumbered funds exits. And that the attached purchase request for a Kubota mulching head is approved by the Quapaw Nation Business Committee. Madam Chair, I move to adopt Resolution 09-1623-H.
Thank you, Member Davis, for that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Member Buffalo. Any further discussion? Call for the question. All those in favor of adopting Resolution 091623-H, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Any abstains? The motion passes.
Resolution number 091623-I is a resolution to authorize Wena Supernal Chair to execute the services agreement for tribal constitution consulting services with Rocky Mountain Drafting and Consulting LLC. The Quapaw Nation will be provided with the services defined in Exhibit A by the contractor, and the contractor agrees to provide the services to the Quapaw Nation pursuant to the terms and conditions of the agreement. The Quapaw Nation Business Committee hereby authorizes Wena Supernal Chair to sign the Rocky Mountain Drafting and Consulting LLC service agreement for tribal constitution consulting services. Madam Chair, I move to adopt Resolution 091623I.
Thank you for the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Member Gibbswater. Is there any further discussion?
Question.
All those in favor of adopting the resolution, please say aye.
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 All those opposed? Any abstains? Oh, I'd like to change my vote from aye to abstain, please. And the motion passes.
Resolution number 091623-J is a resolution to approve the amended and restated 2023 Quapaw Nation Gaming Ordinance. The Business Committee wishes to amend and restate the gaming ordinance of the Quapaw Tribe as the 2023 Quapaw Nation Gaming Ordinance to include relevant provisions of the 2018 NIGC Model Ordinance to ensure consistency with current federal law and to ensure consistency with the Tribal State Gaming Compact between the State of Oklahoma and the Quapaw Nation. Quapaw Nation Business Committee's adoption of this resolution and the authorization of Chair Supernal to submit the amended and restated 2023 Quapaw Nation Gaming Ordinance to the National Indian Gaming Commission for federal approval and to otherwise take such actions as are necessary to fulfill the purpose and intent of this resolution are each in the best interest of the Quapaw Nation. And it is further, each is consistent with the laws of the Quapaw Nation. The proposed changes to the current 2012 Quapaw Nation Gaming Ordinance would include maximize economic success, comply with all legal requirements, advance the sovereignty of the Quapaw Nation. Upon submission to the National Indian Gaming Commission and receipt of it, if there is no response in 90 days from the NIGC, the ordinance is deemed approved. Madam Chair, I move to adopt Resolution 091623-J.
Thank you for that motion, Member Davis. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Member Buffalo. Any further discussion?
Question.
Thank you, Member Davis. All those in favor of adopting the resolution, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. Any abstains?
One abstention.
One abstention. Thank you, Vice Chairman Glass. The motion passes. Looks like I'm up. Okay. So resolution number 091623-K. It's a resolution approving the budget for fiscal year 2024. So the general fund, budget and enterprise budgets, which encompass the Quapaw Services Authority, the Quapaw Food Services Authority, the Quapaw Cattle Company, the Quapaw Nation Cleaning Corps, and the Quapaw Counseling Services were presented, and the budget was balanced. I skipped a paragraph. My apologies. The Quapaw Nation Business Committee has reviewed the budget and found it to be an appropriate projection, anticipating the financial needs and aiding in the future financial planning of the Quapaw Nation and its people. I would like to make a motion to approve resolution number 091623-K. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Member Buffalo. Any discussion?
Question.
Thank you. We did want to give some updates about the high-level budget, especially concerning key differences between prior years and current year. So what we're approving is basically the general fund budget For upcoming fiscal year 2024 that starts October 1, it's a total of a $45 million budget. That is a $12.5 million increase from prior year. So one would suppose, well, what's driving some of those critical changes? And I think of it in a couple of different areas. About a third of it is being driven by, you guys may recall, we had the access to ARPA. And some of those ARPA funds we could utilize for a couple of different purposes. One has to do with premium pay. The Quapaw Nation employees have benefited from ARPA premium pay for the last 2 to 3 years. Those funds have basically been expended, and so in order to remain competitive and recruit and retain our talented folks, that increase or that pay is basically being absorbed into the general fund, and we've had to find ways of funding it to ensure that people still receive fair compensation for the professional services and labor that they expend. So that's where about a third of it is. There are also funds that are expiring at the end of this fiscal year, here just in a couple of weeks, where based on the ARPA and federal guidelines, we were able to utilize about $2.5 million for this revenue loss category. Think about it as, when in really rough times, the federal government recognized, some sort of a revenue loss in our enterprises. Well, those funds are going away. So in order to continue funding critical tribal member services, we've had to kind of like Eric was saying, tighten our belts and figure out where we're going to get the money from. So those are some of the key changes between the prior year budget and the current year budget. So again, it's a $12.5 million increase from prior year on the expenses. The same way, it's a balanced budget, so we are obtaining that revenue from a multitude of sources. The largest distribution that we receive based on this upcoming budget year plan is downstream. So $31.2 million will be coming from downstream. And in comparison from prior year, that's a $12 million year-over-year increase. So we are distributing an additional $12 million to the general fund from downstream this year. Our second highest revenue source is really from the enterprise, fund distribution. So that's primarily Quapaw Services Authority and the other entities that were listed as a part of the resolution. Last, it doesn't have anything to do with the general fund budget, but I do think it's noteworthy in understanding where our funding actually comes from. So we've got a balanced $45 million budget for the tribal government. In addition to that, we also are projecting $30 million in grant dollars for the upcoming year. And comparing that to prior years, just in 2023, it's basically going to come out to about $39 million. So it's a $9 million decrease year over year in expected grant dollars. And even back in 2022, it was almost $32 million. So there's some volatility in those funding dollars from the grant side. Our expectation and the way we look at financial reviews in general is every single dollar counts. Every dollar that we spend in one place means it's a dollar we don't have to spend in tribal member services. So Eric alluded to the fact that it's been a rigorous and deliberate budget review process. We've gone through this from the bottom up as well as the top down. We want to preserve those federal dollars. We want to utilize those to the best of our ability, knowing full well that it's insufficient. It's less than 50% of our total budget if you think about it that way. But that $45 million, every single one of those dollars is precious to us because that's your money. We are here to safeguard and to protect those assets with every single transaction decision we make. Any further discussion? Thank you. All those in favor of adopting Resolution 091623-K, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Any abstains? The motion passes. I promise I won't take so long on these next couple. So it's a resolution approving the amendment to the financial accounting procedures and record-keeping system for all tribal programs. So I'm just going to state the policy, and then when we get into discussion, I'll explain why. We're going to, basically, this is to amend the financial accounting procedures that impacts the recording of intercompany transactions. The amendment states all transactions between the Quapaw Nation and the tribal gaming entities for goods and services for which the nation is the beneficiary will be recorded as a distribution received on the accounting records of the Quapaw Nation and a distribution to the Quapaw Nation on the accounting records of the tribal gaming entities. A monthly list of the transactions from each tribal gaming entity will be sent to the accounting director and chief financial officer of the Quapaw Nation for reconciliation. This list will be attached to the journal entry in the accounting software. The Quapaw Nation reserves the right to reject any unscheduled or unapproved distributions discovered during reconciliation. Unscheduled or unapproved distributions are defined as distributions for which the business committee has not approved separately or in the current year's budget. I would like to I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 091623-L. Is there a second? Thank you, Member Mercer. Any discussion? One comment on here that, hold on just a second. Let me just give the overview. One of the things that came out in last year's consolidated audit were basically, I think of it as classifications. So instead of using a single classification to describe monies that are being distributed from one of the revenue generating enterprises, whether it's, in this particular case, it has to do with the gaming enterprises. Might be called a distribution, it might be called some sort of a transfer, an intercompany transaction. And one of the things that our external auditor brought to our attention was, we're making it awfully difficult on ourselves. And there were inconsistencies in the classifications used between, let's say, Quapaw Casino and downstream. So what this policy, or this change in policy, is expected to do is to accomplish two things. One, really simplify those classifications. It really doesn't need to be that difficult. And we don't, when auditors spend too much time on stuff, it costs us money. And number two, what we found, there were a number of situations where monies were being, basically, when you go to downstream and let's say we fund a lunch, okay? I'll just use that as a simple example. That's not free. Downstream bills the Quapaw Nation for that. I found it offensive that we would be writing checks from the Quapaw Nation to one of our gaming entities. The money's supposed to flow in the other direction, and the other direction only. So we're not in the construction phase. We're in the building a business and capitalizing on that revenue generated for the benefit of our tribal members. So the policy is intended to, one, simplify our kind of accounting classifications so that it's just streamlined. And number two, to cut off that flow, to never send a check from the Quapaw Nation to one of the enterprises that only exists to make money for us, okay? To help tribal member services. It's just that simple. One of the things that we spoke about extensively on this one was we still have to have good, prudent decision-making, meaning that's the reason there's this paragraph in there about unauthorized transactions. So in the event something occurs where, maybe it was, I don't know, one of the committees that decided, and they just went directly to downstream and said, we want you to throw us a big bash. Well, that's unauthorized. It has to be based on deliberate decision-making by those who are accountable to the Quapaw people, the business committee. Okay, so that's what this policy is intended to do. Any other discussion from the business committee? I think there was a question on the floor as well. I don't have any. Rob, did you have a question?
I did. So just because the treasurer election is coming up so soon, has any thought been given to making this be looked at again, just in case there's more input from whoever the new treasurer is? Because I completely agree with what you're saying. And I've always thought that the enterprises should be they should not be, it should be flowing the exact opposite way. But at the same time, from working in the federal government and in presidential administration, I know that it can have tremendous impacts in ways that we never see, including sometimes things behind the scenes in lowering our dollars from grants and other things if you upset someone. So there's the human factor. So I just want to make sure that maybe in that input later on, if that's something that the new treasurer can look at, and then not feel that they're asking for a total change to some policy or something. The thing that I heard when you read the resolution that concerned me, and maybe you guys have already dealt with this, is about journal entries. So journal entries, I've never seen that those were public information to the Quapaw people. So a journal entry, whatever those journal entries are, will those be made public in this act or in this now, or how will that be? Like, how will the people know if a business committee member goes in and throws a bash like that, and a journal entry has to happen to correct it?
So, and I think I understand the nature of your question, but I may not be answering it quite adequately. You're right. I'm not aware that we've ever made transaction level accounting entries available to tribal members. But keep in mind, that's absolutely available for anybody who has an interest in looking at that stuff. We, in the amendments that were voted on July the 22nd, there's a Freedom of Information request that can be made. That's the appropriate place to provide that level of detail for anybody inclined to go through all of that detail. I get excited about that stuff, but maybe not other people do. But I think the real question that you asked is probably a really good one, and that is, we've got this election coming up on November the 4th for the Secretary Treasurer position. These policies, and correct me if I'm wrong, Eric, we have to review and sign off on the overall accounting procedure. Is it on an annual basis or just when changes are needed? When changes are needed. So there's always an opportunity. There's nothing magical about we make this change and we're never allowed to change it again. That's an expected part of the duties of the Secretary Treasurer. We just wanted to get this in place for the upcoming fiscal year to curtail what I consider to be really not a very good practice at all.
Thank you for that. It makes me feel a ton better that you said that the Freedom of Information Act actually allows for us to see those journal entries, because typically they're very, very confidential. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
We'll go ahead and any other discussion? All those in favor of adopting Resolution 091623-L, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Abstain? The motion passes. The next one is Resolution 091623-M. It's approving the purchase of a 2024 Ford F-250 in fiscal year 2024 for the Food Sovereignty Program. I'll make a motion to adopt 091623-M. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Thank you, Member Gibbs-Water. Is there any discussion?
Question.
All those in favor of adopting 091623-M, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Any abstain? The motion passes. We are getting ready to start the next letter. Vice Chairman Glass, would you please cover the next three?
Madam Chairman, I'll be glad to. As Trent had already discussed about the Forestry Department, this is Resolution 091623N, and a resolution approving the purchase of a covered workspace for the Forestry Department. Whereas the Forest Department is in need of a covered workshop or workplace to shelter equipment and personnel, I move to adopt this resolution.
Thank you for that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Member Buffalo. Any further discussion? Call for the question. All those in favor of adopting 091623-N, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Any abstains? The motion passes.
Next resolution is very similar. Resolution 091623O, a resolution approving the purchase of the service to erect a covered workspace for the forestry department. As stated before, whereas the forestry department is in need of a service to erect a covered workplace to shelter equipment and personnel. I so move.
Thank you for that motion, Vice Chairman Glass. Is there a second?
Second. Sorry, I got ahead.
Second by Member Davis. Any further discussion?
Question.
All those in favor of passing resolution number 091623-O, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Any abstains? The motion passes.
Settle down on the north end.
Resolution number 091623P, resolution authorizing the purchase of fee property located within the existing boundaries of the Quapaw Nation and the authorization for chairperson or an authorized representative to execute the purchase on behalf of the Quapaw Nation. Again, this is something that Trent had already discussed about purchasing. Whereas the Quapaw Business Committee supports the purpose of the property by the Quapaw Nation, agreed to a price for the outright purchase of property.
Is there a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve resolution number 091623-P.
Thank you, Member Davis. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Member Gibbs-Water. Is there any discussion?
Question.
Thank you. All those in favor of adopting resolution 091623-P, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Any abstains? The motion passes. With the last three, Member Gibbs-Water, would you please cover those?
Yes. Resolution number 091623-Q, a resolution to amend resolution number 081923-Q, requesting the Secretary of Interior to take a parcel of land consisting of approximately 35 lots, more or less, into trust for the benefit of the Quapaw Nation. The requested acquisition by the United States is fully consistent with the policy goals of the federal government in using trust acquisitions to address the needs of Indian country, as contained in the provisions of 25 CFR 15.3A, which states, subject to the provisions contained in the acts of Congress which authorize land acquisitions, land may be acquired for a tribe in trust status when the property is located within the exterior boundaries of the tribe's reservation or adjacent thereto, or within a tribal consolidation area. 2, when the tribe already owns an interest in the land, when the Secretary determines that the acquisition of the land is necessary to facilitate tribal self-determination. The property is used for both commercial and administrative use within the exterior boundaries of the tribe's original reservation, and the tribe intends on no change in land use. Madam Chair, so move to adopt resolution 091623-Q.
Thank you, Member Gibbs-Water. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Vice Chair Glass, for the second. Any further discussion?
Explain this a little further, because they already it's in restricted lands of the Blood tribe.
Sorry, it looks like Executive Director Stand is ready to answer your question. Thank you.
Okay, so just so I understand, you're wanting an explanation for this resolution. So last month, this resolution was, excuse me, approved for this fee to trust acquisition. However, there was a typographical error saying that it was agriculture land that the tribe was trying to take into trust, and this is where the Realty Office, Environmental Department, QSA, and facilities is in town in Quapaw, and so this amendment is just changing that to the commercial and type of property change that it is to reflect it accurately. Because when it goes to the Bureau, they're going to say, well, it's in Nagland. It's in Main Street in Quapaw. So that's all this was for.
Discussion, yes.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of adopting Resolution 091623-Q, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Any abstains? The motion passes.
Resolution number 091623-R. A resolution approving the programmatic.
Excuse me, Joe. Sorry. Brent, was there a second on that previous resolution 091623-Q?
That's what I was thinking. Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Remember that.
Sorry about that. Before, we just didn't want to have a procedural error before we went too far along. Would you mind, Member Gibbswater, if you could please start anew for R?
Yeah.
All right. Resolution number 091623-R. A resolution approving the programmatic agreement between the Quapaw Nation and the Mark Twain National Forest. This agreement is regarding the process for compliance with Section 106 of National Historic Preservation Act for undertakings on the Mark Twain National Forest of the Eastern Region of the USDA Forest Service, and the Quapaw Nation Committee desires to approve such agreement effective immediately upon its execution by the last party to sign in the interest of protecting the nation's valuable and irreplaceable cultural and historical information and resources. That the programmatic agreement between the nation and the Mark Twain National Forest relating to Section 106 compliance and undertakings on the Mark Twain National Forest of the Eastern Region of the USDA Forest Services is hereby approved, and further that the chairperson is hereby authorized to execute and deliver such agreement on behalf of the nation. Madam Chair, I'd so move to approve this resolution number 091623-R.
Thank you, Member Gibbswater. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Member Davis. Any discussion? Call for the question. All those in favor of adopting 091623-R, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Any abstains? The motion passes.
Resolution number 091623-S. A resolution approving membership of the United Indian Nations of Oklahoma. The Quapaw Nation desires to become a member of the United Nations of Oklahoma with the purpose of working with other tribal nations in protecting and enhancing the sovereignty of tribal nations based in Oklahoma. The Quapaw Nation Business Committee hereby authorizes the membership to the United Indian Nations of Oklahoma. Madam Chair, I'd so move to adopt this.
Thank you for the motion. Member Gibbswater, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Member Buffalo. Any further discussion? The only thing I want to say about this is it's the UINO is the body. There's a, and this is just the Oklahoma tribes. It's highly related to the National Congress of American Indian, but think of it as the Oklahoma version of that. One of the 9 tribes, well, actually one of the other 8 tribes here in Ottawa County holds a board member seat on this particular body, and they are the ones that organized the tribal nation representatives' participation during the overturning Stitt's veto in the Senate a couple of months ago. So they're very active. Again, this is another one of those examples where we desire to work cooperatively with the other tribal nations in this state to effect good policy, not only for Indian country, our Quapaw tribal members, as well as all citizens of the state. Any further discussion? All those in favor of adopting Resolution 091623-S, please say aye. 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 Those opposed? Any abstain? The motion passes. Ooh-wee. Okay. A through S. All right, let's move on to donations. And we do have a few of those. Member Buffalo, would you please kick off the first one?
Comes from Quapaw Public Schools, requesting $300. Quapaw Athletics is seeking a game day sponsorship from the Quapaw Nation for the night of September 22nd, 2023. This is the night of our annual Native American football game to honor the donation for their support of our school and community. Special presentation at halftime.
Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve. Oh, for the amount requested of $300.
Thank you for that motion. Member Davis, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Member Gibbswater. Any further discussion? All those in favor of approving the the Quapaw Public School donation in the amount of $300, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Any abstain? The donation request is approved. The next one, Member Mercer, would you please take that?
The next request is from the River Bottom Sportsmen. They are requesting $1,000. They have revamped our donation approach. For the customary donation, $1,000 donation, still greatly appreciated. And they was asking to up that to $5,000. This covers all expenses for that. And this here is where they have their annual hunt for disabled veterans. Madam Chair, I make a motion for $500.
Motion for 500. Thank you, Member Mercer. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Member Buffalo. I think there's someone here. Mikey Richardson, would you like to speak to this?
I just want to thank you guys for your donation to the River Bottom Sportsmen. This event's been going on about 16 years now. And for all you guys in the audience, we take 7 veterans out to deer hunt. We feed them. They're here for the whole weekend. We clothe them, provide the processing, everything to do with them. The veterans are kind of like kings and queens that whole weekend, and that's what we do.
Thank you, Maggie.
Is there any further discussion?
Question?
Great. So we've got a motion on the table for approving a $500 donation request for River Bottom Sportsmen. All those in favor of adopting the $500 donation, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Any abstains? The $500 donation is approved. The next one, Member Davis, would you please take the next two?
Yes. We have a donation request from Jerry Coach on behalf of the Oklahoma Emergency Response Team. And this is in regard to the Santa Claus program, the toy drive program that they do annually. They're in their 44th year of conducting a toy drive in Ottawa County, providing toys to children ages infant through 17 years of age. And we would be recognized as a sponsor and through social media. The amount requested is $1,000. Madam Chair, I make a motion to donate $500 to the Santa Claus program toy drive that serves Ottawa County children.
Thank you, Member Davis. Is there a second? Second. Thank you, Member Mercer. We'll go into discussion. Is there anybody here who could speak to this particular request that was placed? It says Jerry Coach. We're bringing a microphone to you. Thank you.
This is my 44th year providing toys in Ottawa County for the children. And we work with the other organizations, which is really down to just Toys for Tots, so we don't double up. So we get out to as reach out to as many kids as possible.
Thank you so much. Any additional questions for Mr. Coach? So we've got a motion on the table for a donation to the Santa Claus Program Toy Drive in the amount of $500 that's been seconded. Go ahead and call for the question. All those in favor of the $500 donation request, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstains? $500 donation request is approved.
Madam Chair, the next donation request is from the Quapaw Community Boosters from Lacey Richardson and Terry Daniels, and they are present in the audience today. The Quapaw Community Boosters is requesting a donation in the amount of $1,000, and on average, the Community Boosters spend approximately $800 per month on the backpack program at Quapaw schools. The backpack program provides Quapaw students pre-K through 12 in need of a sack full of kid-friendly, non-perishable food every Friday to provide them with a nutritious meal over the weekend and school holidays. Quapaw Nation would be recognized through social media. Madam Chair, I would so move to approve this donation request in the amount of $500.
Thank you for the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Member Buffalo. Now we're going to go into discussion. Would the contact people, is there anybody here that would be willing to help describe the program?
School since 2013. We provide food to the school. The school actually puts the per week, I'm sorry, in just the elementary and roughly 18 over into the middle school. And it's given out to the kids who might go hungry over the weekend. This way they have some food that they can fix. It's like microwave macaroni, packaged tuna, popcorn. It's just stuff so that they won't go hungry. And that's why we're requesting it. Right now, school's just getting started. We're doing 29 over in the elementary, but as the year goes along, it grows. The cost has, last year we spent almost $6,000, and we do that through fundraising. So, but with the cost of food going up, we could use some help.
Thank you so much. Sounds like a great program. Thank you for being here today. So we've got a motion for this donation request on the table that's been seconded in the amount of $500. Is there any further discussion? Call for the question. All those in favor of approving the $500 donation for the Quapaw Community Boosters, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Any abstains? The motion passes. Member Gibbs-Water, would you take the next donation request, please?
Yes. Got a donation request for the Commerce Public Schools, a Shelley Rhodes. There's actually not an amount requested number right here. Donation request from $45 to $185. It is for the Commerce High School yearbook. The yearbook staff is selling space in the Commerce 23-24 yearbook from $45 to $185. It takes approximately $7,000 to create the yearbook. This is one of the ways that we are able to raise money to have a school yearbook. We also raise money by selling the yearbooks. Madam Chair, I'd move to donation for the full $185.
Thank you. So we've got a motion for the 185. Is there a second?
I will second. Oh, Larry's got it. Second.
Thank you, Member Mercer. Is there anybody here that would like to speak about the Commerce yearbook? Any further discussion? Paul, thank you. All those in favor of approving the $185, it's really not a donation, it's an advertisement or our stuff in the Commerce High School yearbook, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Any abstains? The motion is approved. Last one, Vice Chairman Glass, would you please take that?
This is a donation request, Miami sixth grade football, Jean Ann Blaylock. The money is to help offset the registration costs and uniform fees. Miami sixth grade football is made up of area kids to teach them the fundamentals of football before playing for their schools. The teams was invited to play in the Red Zone games in Arlington, Texas, at the AT&T Stadium on November the 19th. They will play teams from around the United States. Madam Chairman, I so move the donation of $500.
Thank you, Vice Chairman. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Member Gibbswater. Any further discussion? I think it'd be great to hear from Jean Ann about the trip.
Thank you for the approval of the $500. This will help the kids experience something new. I brought my son so that way he can kind of tell you a little bit about his experience in 4th grade when he got to go.
Hi, I'm Caden Blaylock. I play football for the Miami football, the 6th grade football. And when we went to Dallas, it was pretty fun. We got to experience what playing different teams around the United States was, and it was actually pretty fun. And we play the red zone games, which is we play 4 teams for 15 minutes on the 20-yard line. And playing in the stadium is actually like the best experience I've ever had in my life. And it's actually pretty fun, honestly. Thank you for the donation.
Thank you so much. You did great.
Thank you, Caden.
So we've got a motion and second. We're just had
Any further discussion? Call for the question. All those in favor of approving the $500 donation, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Any abstains? The motion passes. All right, now we get to the fun stuff. We're into the candidate forum on the agenda. So we've got 2 candidates in the upcoming November 4th Secretary Treasurer election. Both of them are present today. We'd like to invite the first candidate to speak for 5 minutes, Linda Valier.
A little short there. O-Guah-Pos Relations. I'm Linda Valier, and I'm running for the vacant Secretary Treasurer position. For those of you who don't know me, my grandfather is George Pokey Valier, and my mother is Susie Valier. So what qualifies me for the position of Secretary Treasurer? I have an associate's degree in accounting and associate's degree in Native American Studies from Tulsa Community College. I have a bachelor's degree in accounting from the University of Tulsa and a master's of business administration degree with an emphasis in accounting and taxation from the University of Tulsa. While at Tulsa Community College, I was one of the founding members of TCC's Native American Student Alliance. I served as president, vice president, and secretary treasurer. I was involved in all aspects of the organization and helped coordinate several of their events. I had a clerical work study position for the Native American Studies director. I'm proud of the work I did to assist getting the Native American Studies program off the ground for TCC and for being one of the first students to obtain the Native American Studies degree. The American Indian Chamber of Commerce awarded me with a leadership award during my service for my time at Tulsa Community College. I have more than 20 years of experience in accounting and taxation. I started my career preparing taxes for H&R Block before I went to college to obtain my accounting degree. After college, I worked in public accounting firms, assisting clients with improving their business processes, compliance issues, and preparing their taxes. The last couple of years, I have been the accounting manager for an event rental company in Tulsa, managing all aspects of accounting for the company. I am familiar with the importance of regulation compliance and reporting. If I don't know the appropriate regulations or guidelines that apply to a situation, I know how to research them and apply them to the situation at hand. As I was taught by my mother and grandfather, I have spent my life serving the community I live in. I have been a member of the United States Civil Air Patrol for more than 10 years. I have served as an events coordinator, fundraising coordinator, finance officer, professional development officer, deputy commander, and the commander of a local unit. I'm still involved with fundraising and coordinating the Wreaths Across America event every December. My time in the Civil Air Patrol has provided me with invaluable leadership skills. It has also taught me how to deal with conflict resolution. I believe that you should selflessly give of yourself to serve your community. Leadership is service to others. My vision for the Quapaw Nation is to create a strong, sustainable infrastructure for all Quapaw members and that will endure for generations to come. I feel that we can accomplish prosperity for the Quapaw Nation in several ways. But in the interest of time, I'm opting to not list my goals here. Please see the next Quapaw post for my list of goals. However, I feel that we need to look at today's world and the technologies of the future to find ways to blend them with our culture and traditions. I feel it is imperative to the future sustainability of the Quapaw Nation to create an infrastructure that will keep our nation strong for generations to come. It starts with us and what we do today. The decisions we make now, how we educate all our O-gah-pah relations, and bring those lost back into the fold. The decisions we make today with the Quapaw Nation businesses we currently have, and the businesses we choose to create to build a sustainable infrastructure that will provide for the future of the Quapaw Nation as a whole. I understand that this vision will take time to accomplish, but I know that it can be accomplished with dedication and hard work. I am willing and able to dedicate myself to serving the people of the Quapaw Nation and working towards this vision and goals for all members in the future of the Quapaw Nation. You may or may not agree with me, and either is okay. I promise that I will listen to your concerns and work with you to find some common ground wherever possible. It will be my honor and pleasure to utilize my education, experience, and skills to advance the Quapaw Nation to create a better future for all Quapaw Nation members. I will be holding Meet the Candidate Zoom meetings over the next 6 weeks. These meetings are meant to allow each of you to ask questions and to express your concerns for the Quapaw Nation. Please email info@LindaVallier4QNBC for the Zoom link and meeting schedule. I humbly ask for your vote on November 4th. Ganage for your consideration.
Thank you so much, Linda. I got to tell you, you were spot on at 5 minutes. I had my timer going. I'm telling you. Next, let's hear from Rob Weaver.
Well, to me, it sounds like we have two great candidates for this position. And I got to meet you, I think, at last year's visit. Was it the last year or the year before on July 4th, I think. But anyway, thank you guys. I'm sorry about my voice. I've just moved back from Florida after a couple years and the allergies are hitting me hard. So anyway, my name is Rob Weaver. I know a lot of you. I'm from this area. I grew up in Baxter Springs. I'm the son of Pat Weaver and Mike Weaver from Baxter. I'm the grandson of Arthur Buffalo. All my aunts and my uncle, they're all over here. A lot of us know. Sometimes we're very vocal. I'd say personally, who I am, most people don't know. Most people think, I got told the other day that I have a grumpy face. Well, I always have a lot on my mind, but who I am as a person is a very kind servant. Like, I pride myself in having a servant heart. I love serving our people. And when I ran for chairman, it was a crazy experience, but I learned a lot, and I met hundreds of Quapaws, and I loved it. So I actually was more inspired after I met people to help our people. So one of the things that I will tell you about me, and I won't bore you with a lot of the things that maybe count, but I would tell you in person, any question you want, you can. Let me give you my contact information before I forget. So you're welcome to text me, write me, however you want. I'll put my cell phone. I'll give that put that in the Quapaw Post. I think our communications department contacted us and we're putting information in that. And I think we're doing a survey or something. My email is robert.weaver 78@proton.me, and it'll be all in writing and everything. I'll be happy to write you back. So a little bit about me. I have owned and run my own 100% native owned businesses since I was 19 years old. I started Weaver Environmental at that time. What inspired me to do that was Tar Creek, and I knew it was bad. And I was talking to people in Miami, and I had family members who were getting sick, and seeing all these things where people were getting sick from cancers and everything else. I'm the type of person that when I see an issue, I don't overlook it. I try to do something to fix it. One of the things that I like for people to know about me is conflict doesn't bother me. It won't bother me if you don't like me, if you don't like an issue, any of those kind of things. It will never be personal. I always try to be fair to everybody. I always try to listen to both sides, because I think the older that I get, I'm 45, by the way, I've learned in 2 near-death experiences. I had cancer when I was 20, and then I had cancer in 2017. And I'm doing a lot better. Tell me I'm gonna live. But when you're faced with those kind of things, you realize that really what's important is people. People you love, the people you serve, and what you do. So to me, what matters are ideas and accomplishments. So as far as those types of things, average student from Baxter Springs, Kansas, I was able to start my own business at 19. Then I started RWI Benefits when I was, I would have been 29, I think. And then I started Native Care Health out of a need, out of the unmet needs that I saw in our people. We weren't getting health care at Indian Health Services like we should have. People were telling me over and over and over that we weren't. I had cousins that had killed themselves because they couldn't get counseling. I saw women who were dying of cancers, of uterine cancer, 2 in 1 year, because they couldn't get service. It's not that the individual members or employees of Indian Health Services were the issue. It was the actual system. So people warned me, don't take that on. They're gonna come after you, those kind of things. They did, but I realized a long time ago that some things are worth fighting for, and our health is worth that. And anyone who's ever lost anyone, had to grieve someone that they've lost, knows that life is precious and it's worth fighting for. So I want you to know to this day, the reason why I went to Washington to work for any president. By the way, I've worked for 2. One as a volunteer. I worked under President Obama as they have a formal title. I can't remember the exact title, what they do. It's not me, thank God.
You could wrap up, Rob. That was the 5-minute mark.
Okay.
Thank you.
30 seconds real quick. Anyway, I worked under President Obama as our representative on contracting and grants. That was a voluntary position. And then I worked under President Trump. Not that I loved his policies, honestly, but I knew somebody needed to represent our interest. I've been a grants writer.
I know every one of the current White House liaisons who are the people who work with the president. I'll be happy to answer your questions in the interest of time about any other qualifications. But whoever you vote for, it will be nothing personal to me. I want to get to know each one of you and get to re-know some of you, because I haven't even seen a lot of my family since I've gotten back. So thank you very much. Gonna game.
Thank you, Rob. Good open forum. So we're going to move on to open forum at this point. So just as in months past, each person who wishes to speak in open forum has 5 minutes, 1 trip to the podium. The topics must pertain to the agenda, or the individual must have previously filed a form to be placed on the agenda. In the interest of time, we have 1 individual that asked to be placed on the agenda. We're going to limit open forum to that so that we can conclude promptly at 11:30, so that we can ensure a 12:30 start time for the town hall. Open forum, Lena McQuarrie, thank you.
Hi. My name is Leah McQuarrie. For those who don't know who I am, my mother is Mary Helen McCarty, and my grandfather is Charlie Leon Wheeler. I just wanted to pinpoint on a couple of things about Downstream and the amazing things that we've accomplished. I take pride in what we've done in the past few years, and it's just encouraged me to talk about it here and share with everybody. I've worked at Downstream for the past 14 years, prominently in HR. I oversee the HR department, the clinic, and the learning center there on the property. I've witnessed so much positive change in the last 3 years per se, and from what we've accomplished, it's just provided more morale and encouragement for everyone to do the same and to be more involved, which is really exciting. I'm going to pinpoint just a couple of things real quick. We've revised the tuition reimbursement policy for the Quapaw tribal members. So everyone who's Quapaw gets full reimbursement. For those who are not tribal, we've also risen those prices as well. So that's been great. And the management is included in all budgeting. Everything's very transparent. They encourage people to ask questions and to provide ideas, which has been amazing. The transparency throughout the property, as well as the policies and procedures that have been updated, have provided better streamlining throughout the property. We've invested in new HRIS system, which has provided easier, streamlined, user-friendly employees for the employees, as well as the analytic property reporting. Training and networking is encouraged and it's supported. The on-site clinic was expanded, as well as we provide a psychologist on site once a week, which has been very well utilized. We're excited about that. We've also provided trainings throughout the property with what's called RISE Coalition. They provide signs and spotting human trafficking, which we're prominently right on the highway there. So I think that's been very insightful for our team members to understand what that includes and to help those who are seeking help. We've also invested in a new guest service program across the property, which helps entice patrons to keep coming back to Downstream. And we've also included incentives for team members who practice that new program. We've also expanded the funds for the Quapaw Tribal Longevity for the tribal members who work at Downstream. And since Stuart Grayson, who is the GM, has taken over, we previously had 1 Quapaw tribal member on the executive team, and we're now up to 5. He has created a succession development plan to encourage tribal members to be involved with and to develop them in order to be part of the management group at Downstream, which has been really, really nice. He encourages people to understand what our culture and purpose and values are, which is to provide funds for the tribe, and he states that on a weekly basis. There's less micromanaging, and I just wanted to make sure that everybody was aware of what we've accomplished in the last few years and how excited I am to be part of it. I'm equally excited for the tribal members who are also getting developed and to expand their wings, so to speak, into something that they're wanting to do or be involved with. And that's highly encouraged as well. So again, I'm just excited for where we're going to be in the next 3, 5, 10 years. And I appreciate your time and I appreciate being part of it. Thank you.
Lena, thank you so much for your words and for being such a long-standing tribal member employee at Downstream, one of the emerging executives in Indian country. We're proud of you.
Thank you so much.
Are you a member of the Culture Committee? Okay, all right, go ahead. Sorry.
No,
It's a
I'm
good
not
one.
on the culture committee, but I am volunteered to help on this activity for the fall festival, which is October 14th coming up. So we're having a fashion show for little girls ages 2 to 12 years old. It's going to be in this room from 10 to noon, and if you want to participate, you have to be here at 9:30. And the age categories are 2 to 5 years old, 6 to 9 years old, 10 to 12 years old. And you must pre-register to participate on or before October 9th by calling Karen Hildreth at the museum, and her number is 918-238-3157. And if you have any other questions, you can get a hold of Betty Gackey, Karen, or myself. There is a flyer out there, so be looking for it, but we'd love to have participants. But we do need you to pre-register, so excited about that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It sounds like a really exciting event. Looking forward to it. So with that, we're going to go ahead and proceed to benediction. Member Mercer, would you please lead us in prayer? We're going to close open forum. As announced at the beginning of open forum, in the interest of time, we've only got about an hour before the town hall begins. Member Mercer?
Go with those that are traveling, give us safe passage, healing for our members that are ill. Cover us all with love.
Amen. Motion to adjourn. Is there a second? Second from Member Buffalo. All those in favor of adjourning, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Abstain? We stand adjourned. Thank you.